Hi, I'm Dana Gould, and we're going to talk about how to get ahead in advertising, which is an ingenious British-made black comedy from 1989 that stars the always excellent Richard E. Grant. And it is written and directed by Bruce Robinson. And it tells the story of a stressed-out advertising executive, played by Grant, named Dennis Bagley. And Dennis cracks under the weight of his conscience because he becomes convinced that advertising and greed are destroying the world. He could be right. What makes the film so great is the manifestation of Dennis's guilt and his anger. I don't know if it owes more to the metamorphosis or the Manster. In the film, Dennis Bagley finally reaches his breaking point when he's asked to come up with an ad campaign for pimple cream. And he can't. He can't. Bruce Robinson's gifts as a writer are on full display when Dennis explains his writer's block. I can sell anything to anyone. Give me a bald head and I'll sell it shampoo. But when it comes to pimples, my brain slides into a dreadful, oily neutral. Dreadful, oily neutral. So good. The manifestation of Dennis's guilt? He grows a boil. Not a pimple, a boil. And then the boil grows a little face and starts talking to him. The boil is, of course, Dennis's unchecked id, the Hyde to his Jekyll, only they share a shoulder. It's when the boil starts talking and you see its little face, voiced initially by Robinson himself, that you get a little thrill. And that thrill is the realization that, oh, I'm watching a movie that could never get made today. Certainly not by a major studio in this country. It's the same feeling I got when I first saw Ed Wood. I'm watching a black and white biography of Ed Wood made by Disney, and it doesn't suck. Not only does it not suck, it's actually great. You start to get the feeling that you should look around and make sure you haven't slipped through a membrane into a much cooler reality. The film was shot in England in 1989 and made by Handmade Films, the company that made Robinson's previous movie With Nail and I. For those of you who don't know, Handmade Films was started in 1978 by George Harrison. What's interesting about Handmade Films is that it operated the way the Beatles hoped Apple would operate, by funding artists with daring visions that might otherwise have met resistance from more mainstream corporate sources. It's a much better use of your money than, say, sending yourself to space.